Hello, welcome back to the Road to Episode 8, my ongoing series where I chart the road to the release of Star Wars Episode 8 in December 2017, and this isn't going to be really about Episode 8, it's going to be about Rogue One, my long-awaited, by no one, review of the Rogue One teaser trailer, which came out like 15 months ago. I don't know why I didn't get around to doing this. Well, I do know why I didn't get around to doing this, that's a whole other story. Let's just get into it. Shot by shot, frame by frame, well not frame by frame, that would take forever and be rather pointless and flogging a dead horse at that point, but I promise to give you my thoughts on the trailer in depth like I did with all the Force Awakens ones, so let's get right to it. The first shot, we see Felicity Jones's character, Jyn Erso, walking out of a ship, maybe, into a rebel base, and she turns around and we hear the voiceover. What is your name? And she says, Jyn Erso. And we get the impression she's some kind of prisoner. The next shot, she's getting carried along, not carried along, she's been escorted along, I should say. This hangar, which looks very familiar. I mean, even the guy with the helmet there, very reminiscent of, which is, well, it's reminiscent because it is the outfit from A New Hope. So this is the rebel base on Yavin, or Yavin 4. And so instantly you're kind of transported back to the time of the first Star Wars film, which is really cool, and instantly I think for me made me feel like, wow, this is something we've never seen before. We've never seen a film that is showing the events from the original trilogy in a modern film, if that makes sense. I mean, we've had, the original trilogy, we had the prequels, but the prequels just look completely different. And then even The Force Awakens, it looked, quite different as well. I mean, it felt more similar and of the same DNA as the original trilogy in terms of its look. But this is literally a new, modern film showing you a location from the original trilogy. And that was like, that's pretty cool to see. Now, just before I even continue this, I have said that my initial reaction to the trailer was, it looks pretty good. Again, I've talked about it in this series before, about how it felt like a bit of an expensive fan film. And then it's hard for me to look at a film like this, or at least a trailer to a film like this, and kind of get fully on board to it like I was with Episode 7, because this is a film without, the storyline that I love so much, which is the Skywalker story and the Jedi and all that kind of stuff. So it is hard for me to kind of latch onto this and be like, this is amazing, and I've never been one of those fans who is really into like the stormtroopers and like just the military aspect of it, like all well, not even the ships, what do you call them, the AT-ATs and the AT-STs and all the vehicles, and all that kind of stuff. I know a lot of people are big fans of just the look of the stormtroopers and everything, and they're Empire fans and things like that, and so they really want to see a film like this where it is all about the warfare. And I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to that aspect of it, but I haven't been as much. I'm more leaning towards the mystical and spiritual Force side of loving Star Wars. So that's one reason why it didn't really set me alight as much as The Force Awakens, which is fine. And honestly, over the past couple of months, as I've kind of sat on it and watched it a few more times, I have enjoyed it more, and I'm really intrigued to see where it's going to go. But I can't lie and say that I'm really, really excited for it like I was The Force Awakens. Right, the next shot, we see Jyn Erso inside a very familiar looking room, looking over at someone who's talking, and we have this guy, who seems to be one of the main characters. He's in quite a few of the shots with the lead character, Jyn Erso, so you can only assume that he is going to be one of the main characters of the film. I don't know offhand who any of the characters, what their names are, and all that kind of stuff. And then I guess during this scene where she's being told, because we get the idea that she's this rebel and she's going out and she's doing stuff she shouldn't be doing, and so we get within the little scene in the trailer a flashback of her in this outfit where she's got kind of the hood over her head, and then she starts kicking some ass and taking it to some stormtroopers, smacks them over the head, and then pulls a gun out, and then we cut to a big explosion. This is a very fast cut section of the trailer, so it's like bang, 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 bang. This shot's really cool, seeing the stormtroopers flying, and again, it looks to me like that's a real explosion, and probably guys on wires getting flipped away. So it's really cool to see the practical aesthetic is still bleeding over into this next Star Wars film, much like we had with The Force Awakens, the blending of the practical and the digital. And I've seen some set pictures where they built some big ships for this and stuff, so that's pretty cool. Obviously, this ain't going to have as big of a budget as The Force Awakens, and I think rightfully so. And I think it'll probably show, but at the same time, I think that the way this film looks, in terms of the special effects and everything on the practical sets and things, it looks like top-notch stellar. Here's another shot of the stormtroopers getting blown away. And then we cut back to Jyn Erso. This is probably the only thing I don't really like about the trailer. Actually, no, one of the things I don't like about the trailer, where they're asking her why she's Jyn Erso. They're asking her why she's doing all this stuff, and she's like, "This is a rebellion, isn't it? I rebel."
I rebel.
And I know that people love that line, and they're like, "Yeah, it's just a bit cheesy for me." And I know Star Wars is cheesy, you know. I mean, don't get me wrong, you know. I just want to go to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters. You know, there's a lot of cheese in the Star Wars films, but I rebel. Yeah, you know, I didn't like it, I'll be honest. And then we cut to Mon Mothma. Now, interesting note on Mon Mothma, who was a character in Return of the Jedi back in 1983. She was brought back for the 2005 film Revenge of the Sith, the final prequel film, Episode 3, but wasn't in the final cut, and was played by the actress who plays her in this movie. So I find that quite kind of funny that someone who was cast to play Mon Mothma over 10 years ago got the part, put on the outfit, the wig and everything, filmed it, and then it wasn't in the film. And then 10 years later they were like, "Hey, do you want to do this again?" You know, and it's... I wonder if that's ever happened. If someone has been cast in a film, have filmed their part, the part hasn't even ended up in the film, and then a decade later they get brought back for a different one. I can't think of any instance where that's probably happened. And also, when she was cast for Revenge of the Sith, she probably looked 10 years younger, and so would fit a younger looking Mon Mothma now, more towards the age of maybe Mon Mothma in A New Hope, so that kind of works out well. In Kevin Smith's review of the trailer, he said that he wondered if they somehow digitally de-aged the original actress because he thought that it looked so perfect. I wouldn't go that far, but it definitely, you know, she looks very much like Mon Mothma, and I think will probably do well in the role. And now we're getting to that point where we're going to start seeing characters from the original trilogy played by other actors in either younger forms, or in this case, not even that much younger. You know, I mean, the events of episode 4, 5 and 6 take place over the course of, you know, about 3-4 years max, you know, so not that I'm saying that she looks a lot younger or anything like that, but you can kind of get away with a different looking actor if it's much earlier or later. But this is, it's one of those, but it's a minor character, so it's not really going to ruffle any feathers. It certainly doesn't ruffle mine, but just an interesting note to talk about. Great shot of Jyn Erso inside some kind of ship as it's flying somewhere. Just, there's a great atmosphere to this shot of an impending something, like a battle. I really like that shot. Now this is one of the big shots of the trailer. It is a Star Destroyer, and it just looks phenomenal. It really, really does. And there's a great video of the people who worked on the special effects of Rogue One sitting down in a big room, like with loads of them there, watching all of the fan reactions to the trailer, which I didn't do. And they're reacting to the trailer and stuff. And there's one point where someone says, you know, "Wow, that Star Destroyer, is that a model? I can't tell if it's a model, if it's real, or if it's CGI." And the room just erupts, and they're like, "Yes, that's what we want," you know.
I rebel.
I rebel.
Shit, I rebelled too.
And it was really cool to see them get that gratification, that it had worked for them, you know. And I agree, I think it looks phenomenal. I wouldn't probably be able to tell if it was a model or not. Now it's moving across something, and we see a shadow, and it's not quite clear at first what it is, and then suddenly we see the Death Star, and it's a really cool shot because the shadow is passing behind the Star Destroyer. I don't know how likely that is in terms of the practicality of it, the science of it, but it just looks really cool anyway, having the stark contrast of the Star Destroyer in front of the shadow that's moving behind it. Really great shot. And as it moves past, we see the Death Star, and we see you know, this big moving thing, and then we cut to the money shot. It is the Death Star, and it is the dish being moved in, and we see like loads of little Star Destroyers, but obviously we know how huge they are from prior knowledge of the other films. I'll stumble over my words a little bit more. From prior knowledge of the other films, we know how big these Star Destroyers are from the previous films. And so seeing them so small really gives you that sense of that huge scale. And this is the one shot a lot of people were talking about, I think more than anything, that really excited them. We get a shot of this guy. I can't remember what he was saying in the trailer, but he's another character, I suppose, in the film. And then he's talking to Jyn Erso. In fact, this might be where she says... No, it's not. No, it's not. I thought maybe I messed up where she says, I rebel. No, this is where... she says something like let's go, or something like that, or they're about to go out to battle, something like that, or go on the mission, and she kind of is like, you know, the equivalent of Newt affirmative, you know, just so off they go. This December comes up on screen, and this is where the second thing I did like about the trailer was the the Death Star alarm. Woo! 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 Like 2.5 times of me doing that was enough to annoy myself. I get what they're going for, and it gives a cool kind of war feel to it, but it's so annoying to listen to. Like every time I watch a trailer, I just bump the volume down a little bit. You know, with this cool shot of Jyn Erso and the guy from earlier walking out of the hangar on the Rebel base, and we see some X-wing pilots and stuff. Then we get this shot of Ben Mendelsohn, who I didn't even know was in the film, and I'm really excited about this because he is a great actor. I think he's fantastic. I've seen him in loads of films in smaller parts, and he's always brilliant, so I'm really interested to see him in this film as the villain. I kind of feel like they're kind of almost, you know, just tickling the balls of all the EU fans, because this looks very much like Grand Admiral Thrawn with the white Imperial outfit. And a lot of people mentioned that, but it's neither here nor there. It's a cool, different look for an Imperial officer, and it's a cool kind of shot of him in the trailer. And then we have this guy in a hood being escorted by some stormtroopers, and in the background you can see this big kind of, it's almost like a tank, you know, and that's something we've never seen before. It's like kind of an equivalent of a tank in the Star Wars universe. We got stormtroopers sitting in it and stuff, and I thought that looked really cool. And there's some concept art of that which I'll be talking about in the next video. Then we get this shot of Forrest Whitaker, who is another great actor who I'm really looking forward to seeing in this film. And then we get a shot of this guy who is a Death Trooper. This is their official name. It's been confirmed. The Black Stormtroopers are called Death Troopers, which is a very imposing name. And it's interesting now to see these things that have been a part of the expanded universe for so long, and now we're getting them in movies. Things like the Black Storm. Well, I guess we had the black TIE fighter pilots, but this is like a black suited stormtrooper, which I don't think we've seen in a film before. Maybe I'm wrong. You know, for me being such a big fan, there's still some things I don't know. Then we have a shot of someone being led through a market. They've got their hands tied, and so we see kind of the way that the Empire is imposing itself upon people. And then this shot, as the pace starts to pick up, we see Jyn Erso running away from something with, on the left, a digital droid who is running, and I can pretty much guarantee you this is going to be the character that's played by Alan Tudyk, who did motion capture for the film, and is obviously doing the voice of a character that is not real. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be the character, this robot. And then we cut to a shot of stormtroopers running down this hallway. I don't know where it is. Is it on the Death Star, or is it on some ship? And you can see some kind of like, is it green looking stormtroopers? I'm kind of colorblind, but either way it stands out from the white. And so again, we're getting like different kinds of stormtrooper looks, because there's going to be a lot of kind of battles in this film, from what I understand anyway. Then we have Donnie Yen's character. Now Donnie Yen is someone who everyone seems to know about. I don't know anything about him. I've just heard the name. People are apparently excited he's going to be in the film, and here he is with a bow staff or something, being surrounded by some stormtroopers, and then bang, he just takes them out. And that's something again that I haven't really seen. It is kind of someone just taking it to some stormtroopers with a, you know, just hand to hand, or with a proper weapon as opposed to a blaster or a lightsaber. And a great shot of the Death Troopers on a beach. And now this is something, now people say, like, you know, oh, The Force Awakens, it kind of did the same thing as the original trilogy, you know, a forest planet, a snow planet, a desert planet, and then people have jumped to defend that and said, well, what else is there to do? Well, this has never been. Have you ever seen a beach in a Star Wars film? No. So this is another thing that they can kind of add to that lexicon of locations of the Star Wars live action films, at least. So that's going to be cool to see, you know, a beach in a Star Wars film. Let's see how that looks when you drop all those characters in it with the AT-ATs and all that kind of thing. We see the ship being blown up, which looks pretty cool, and someone kind of by the explosion getting kind of rocked by the blast. And then we have this very kind of striking image at sunset of Ben Mendelsohn's character walking across the shore of this beach with his white cape flowing kind of beautifully behind him. Very, again, as I said, striking shot. Now this is the one shot that absolutely is kind of... I say the one shot everyone was talking about was the Death Star, perhaps not. This one is the one that has been the subject to most speculation by far. It is a hooded character walking towards this big kind of tube and kind of kneeling down. Now many have speculated that this is a Bacta tank. A Bacta tank is a tank filled with water that kind of heals you. We saw that in The Empire Strikes Back with Luke after he got brought back from not the wilderness, but the icy landscape of Hoth when he was out there and Han rescued him. They brought him back, put him in the Bacta tank to heal him from his injuries from the Wampa. So people have speculated that this is a Bacta tank, and more interestingly, we have two red guards on the left and right who we've only ever seen guarding the Emperor in Return of the Jedi. So is this the Emperor in the shot? Or is it Darth Vader? Now it can't be Darth Vader surely, because we know that he gets his mask, you know, immediately when he turns, well, not immediately, but you know, pretty much within about a few hours of him becoming Darth Vader, he's in the suit and mask, you know. So this isn't like a pre-mask Vader where he hasn't got the helmet on and he's just got a hood over himself. So, but then again, who knows? Who knows? Maybe there's like a fight scene with Vader and someone cuts his mask off or something, and so he has to put a hood on. I don't know. There's lots of things you can think about. Now, people have speculated that it is either Snoke in the robe, or that Snoke is inside the Bacta tank. Or that the Emperor is inside the Bacta tank. There's so many... Or that Anakin is inside the Bacta tank. That maybe Vader gets injured in battle and is put inside the tank to heal. I mean, there's so many ways you could look at it. But one thing I can say is that Pablo Hidalgo, the gatekeeper of everything canon in the Star Wars universe now, has specifically said on Twitter, Snoke is not in this film. This is a standalone movie, so this has got nothing to do with Snoke. So you can kind of make up your own mind and kind of speculate as to what this is going to be. Maybe it's Ben Mendelsohn's character wearing a dark robe as opposed to the white one. It could be to throw people off. It could be a red herring or two red herrings on the left and right of the screen. Who knows what this is going to be, but you have to assume Vader's going to be in the movie, and will this tie into that? I don't know. I've got no theory. But looking forward to seeing what it's all about. Another shot of Forrest Whitaker. Looks like he's sat inside a ship. Shot of this guy who is not really prominent, but I've seen him a few times in promotional images. So he seems to be another one of the main characters of the team that goes to you know, to get the plans to the Death Star. Kind of a cool shot with the explosion behind him. And then this is one of the big shots is the rebels run across the beach, and you kind of see the familiar legs in the background, and the camera pans up, boom, AT-ATs right just towering over the people. I don't know why they're running on foot towards these gargantuan battle vehicles, but they are. And then they start firing down, and we hear that familiar doo-doo, doo-doo, and that cuts to black. And it's a really cool moment in the trailer. And then there is, I don't know who's saying it, but there's a very trailer-esque voice of someone saying, "What will you become?" And we see Jyn Erso turning around, very Katniss Everdeen style, very trailer style, you know. Dun dun dun. And the lights light up in this tunnel, this corridor she's in, and she's wearing an Imperial costume. And that's the end of the trailer, Rogue One. And then we get the kind of the great kind of theme that is played in a different kind of a darker tone. Just an interesting take on it that kind of seems to fit a darker tone. And then it says Rogue One, a Star Wars story, which is the official title of the film. So there we go. That's my little review shot by shot of the trailer, breaking it down. I think it's a really good trailer, but as I said, I can't lie and feign huge enthusiasm to it because it didn't get me to that level. But I'm very interested to see the next trailer, obviously, and to see the film. It's going to be really, really fun and cool and interesting to see what they're going to come out with, I think. But that remains to be seen. The film's going to be coming out in I don't know the exact date, but it's December of this year, so we'll see what happens with the with the new Star Wars film, with the first spin-off, and how that's going to do, and everything else in between. And yeah, I was going to go into some more news, but I think I'll just leave it there and just have this be its own video because I've been talking for so long. But next time there will be some Episode 8 stuff, a lot more Rogue One stuff that's been going on, and let me know what you thought of the trailer, even though it's, again, about 18 months out of date. But let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.